This is a continuation on vocabulary. This is a lecture actually on behavior or psychology. Vocabulary reflects what person wants, and vocabulary also is a reflection of personal maturity. So the vocabulary that person uses that is asexual expresses grief and can be next as a next stage of grief express anger, and source of grief and anger can be dead or dying animals that are then blamed on a wife or child or husband or child or parents to have that person work for or hurt. And it's the same with humans. We start with animals because they are itemized. So itemization of an animal, such as also using the nickname of body parts derived from things that are with teeth or with tools destroyed, creates duality in which when that person's profession is such, at first it seems funny. However, with time, there is the duality of hate and love mixed in sex that always spirals towards a sexual relationship, which has usually something to do with defense. That is to understand very well, to be able to assent or have sex that is pleasurable, one has to clearly differentiate violence, death, and sex and pleasure, which is then leads to pregnancy and birth, a continuation as such, not right away, and there is no death in between or pain in between, if that is a continuum and we do not make a mistake creating a duality. So what impedes in fact intimacy or sex? Vocabulary that reflects persons or animals being harmed or hurt, or use of such words to depict body parts that evoke fruits, tools, destruction, eating or destroying, which is arousing, but it always is arousing with a top. And there is a source of higher love, which that source cannot then achieve the same degree of intensity of pleasure and the continuity of pleasure because there are others. So wanted possessive love is blocked. This is meant especially for police and mental health to dissociate from one another and understand that there is no place in medicine, especially in mental health, for mistaking eating, which is destroying with teeth, to call in that way body parts, and therefore not towards the patient to do harm, towards selves first and towards being at work. We never impose on persons where we detect hatred or sadness in being parted from somewhere else a relationship, which means one person that has been done harm and the other one grieving doing that harm, blaming someone else's or self, that is not to force those people together by force. And vocabulary is telling also for physicians or mental health that is otherwise specified as associated personnel, which means associated personnel to a team in which a physician plays a key role, and that is in disregard of drugs. Drugs can be delegated to first person administration of medication to decide, do you give up because you are in too much pain to be right now without a sedation, and do you need to sleep, for instance, to rest? We cannot be causing, for instance, interviewing a person a discomfort and then offer drugs. or causing stress, or having inmates, for instance, in jail or foster care, causing fear of being harassed, causing fear of being having food being taken away, causing fear of being drugged up or deprived of a say in legal situations, or deprived of legal assistance, or worse, provided assistance that disguises the truth in court using abbreviations, acronyms, or language that is not understood to jury or not understood to persons who decide, which is jury, and that is a justification to waive representation by a lawyer, and that is mentally sane, and person in fear, like it happened in one instance that I've witnessed, cannot, in fear of being accused of wrongdoing, aware of wrongdoing of police officers, even of lower rank, cannot climb or demand having the person without representation declared not competent. If person does not have a trauma, a person is not a drug addict, the person is not therefore in possession of any sort of substance in blood or discomfort to speak for self, a person speaking foreign language, or a person being on this screen unable to hear because of hearing impairment, because of problems having others around, because of problems of the camera, has to, it's a burden on a judge to understand what is being said, ask that person who is most important to many times to repeat, to defend self, as opposed to have someone else insinuate that this is sexual or that this is being sick to extort money. Lawyers are not thieves, and that is for officers who witness things like that to escort judge or lawyer, not in group molesting, to jail.